Imagine with me for a second that we're zooming in from the vastness of the universe. We're flying past the planets, zooming past massive cities, diving deep inside human cells, right down into the absolute microscopic quantum world of atoms and molecules. Now, to really see what's happening down here, we have to slow down time. We move from ordinary seconds to milliseconds to microseconds, down to nanoseconds, picoseconds, and finally, we arrive right here. 10 to the power of -15, a femtosecond, 1/4,000,000th of a second. This incredibly, mind-bendingly brief moment is the exact scale where chemical bonds literally form and break. It is, for all intents and purposes, the timescale of creation itself.
Welcome to this explainer. I am your host, Dr. Chem, and together we are going on a cinematic journey through the quantum scale today. We're going to unpack exactly how modern scientists act as molecular filmmakers. Using some really cutting-edge, ultra-realistic laser technology, we can now freeze chemical reactions faster than the blink of an eye. We're talking about the ultimate high-speed camera here, femtosecond spectroscopy. So here is our roadmap for the journey today. We'll start with the ultrafast microscopic world, move into the pump probe technique, talk about capturing molecular movies, peek at some real-world equipment, tackle resolving the physics, and finally look ahead to the attosecond frontier. Let's dive right into Section 1, the ultrafast microscopic world, a brief history of freezing time. You know, before we could capture molecular dynamics in stunning 4K resolution, we have to appreciate the sheer velocity of human innovation. We definitely haven't always had these amazing tools. Back in 1950, researchers George Porter and Ronald Norrish realized they could use these massive, powerful flash lamps to study really short-lived intermolecular energy transitions. They called it flash photolysis, and it was a huge deal. It actually won them the Nobel Prize in 1967. But, as you can guess, flash lamps had their limits. It wasn't until 1999 that Ahmed Zewail won a Nobel Prize for truly pioneering femtochemistry, using advanced lasers, which finally allowed us to watch atomic motion in real time. And the progress hasn't stopped. Just recently, in 2018, Gerard Mourou and Donna Strickland took home the Nobel for pushing us even further into attosecond pulse lasers. So we went from these clunky, giant camera flashes to incredible precision optical lasers in just a few decades. Moving on to Section 2, the pump probe technique, the ultimate camera flash. Think of this pump probe technique as basically the ultimate camera flashbulb, but scaled all the way down to the size of a single molecule. It's a spectroscopic method that uses two synchronized laser pulses with a variable time delay. To put it simply, imagine you're in a pitch-black room trying to photograph a speeding bullet. You need two things, right? You need a trigger to fire the gun, and you need a strobe light to illuminate the bullet mid-flight so your camera can catch it. In spectroscopy, the first laser pulse, which we call the pump, is that trigger. It starts the chemical reaction. The second pulse, the probe, is that incredibly fast shutter, or strobe light that captures the frozen split-second frame of the molecule's new state. So the really crucial part is how we string these steps together. Step 1, a high-intensity pump laser hits the sample, exciting a bunch of the molecules to a higher energy level. Step 2, a low-intensity probe laser quickly passes through to measure the absorption. But Step 3 is where the absolute cinematic magic happens. Scientists systematically vary the delay time between the pump and the probe by stitching these consecutive snapshots together. Snapshots separated by mere femtoseconds. Researchers literally reconstruct a multi-dimensional molecular movie of an ultra-fast chemical reaction. It's like stop-motion animation, but at the quantum level. Which brings us to Section 3, capturing molecular movies, and introducing FSRS. Now, moving beyond that basic two-pulse system, we step into a really advanced technique called Femtosecond Stimulated Raman Spectroscopy, or FSRS. This gives us unprecedented structural detail, but it requires three highly precise pulses. First up, we have the actinic pump. This is a femtosecond pulse that photoexcites the system. It kicks off the reaction. Then, after a specific time delay, a picosecond Raman pump acts on the system. Now, this one is narrowband, meaning it has a very specific frequency, and its job is to create vibrational coherences. Essentially, it gets the molecular bonds vibrating rhythmically. Finally, a broadband femtosecond probe pulse arrives at the exact same time. Together, this three-pulse trio maps out highly complex reactive pathways on potential energy surfaces. They literally let us watch molecular bonds stretch, twist, and break in real time. But you might be wondering, how on earth do we see the whole spectral picture at once? Because measuring one wavelength of light at a time would be insanely tedious. The secret is supercontinuum generation. Scientists fire an ultra-short laser pulse into a special crystal, like sapphire, and they harness nonlinear optics to convert that single, narrow laser beam into a brilliant, broadband white light source. This means that with just a single, incredibly brief probe pulse, we can measure a molecule's entire absorption spectrum instantly. It's basically like turning on all the lights in the universe for a fraction of a quadrillionth of a second.
All right, Section 4, Real-World Nanoscale Equipment. Let's step inside the Ultrafast laboratory. We've talked a lot about the abstract theory so far, but what does all this actually look like in a physical, futuristic laboratory setting? Picture a leakage radiation microscope. The sample structure is sandwiched between high-end optics, and there's an oil immersion detection objective at the bottom, possessing just immense light-gathering power. Scientists use this exact kind of sleek precision engineering to study things like organic polaritons, which, if you're not familiar, are basically hybrid states of light and matter on the nanoscale. These intense laser beams are traveling through highly complex optical components, bouncing off perfectly aligned mirrors and diffraction gratings, all before finally hitting this microscopic stage.
And I have to tell you, the mechanical precision required to control the timing of these lasers is just staggering. Because light moves incredibly fast, right? To create a 1 picosecond delay between two laser pulses, you can't just press a button or use a digital timer. You have to physically change the distance the actual light travels. So labs use these rapid scanning optical delay lines that dither or rapidly vibrate mirrors at rates like 400 hertz. To get exactly a 1 picosecond delay, the mirror moves a total travel distance of only 4 micrometers. Think about that. That is a fraction of the width of a single human hair shifting back and forth hundreds of times a second, strictly to delay light itself. It's phenomenal engineering.
Section 5. Resolving the physics. Let's talk about the myths, the limits, and the reality. When you are dealing with precision this extreme, you inevitably run headfirst into the fundamental laws of the universe. In the early days of FSRS, people were looking at the data coming out, and they started asking a very provocative question. Wait a minute. Does FSRS break the Heisenberg uncertainty principle? Because that principle states you cannot simultaneously know the exact position and momentum of a particle, or in this specific optical case, you can't have perfectly infinite time resolution and perfectly infinite spectral or energy resolution at the same time. And yet, it seemed like FSRS was capturing data that was simply too good. It looked like it was supposedly bypassing absolute quantum limits. Because FSRS simultaneously achieves less than 50 femtoseconds of temporal resolution and roughly 10 inverse centimeters of spectral resolution. I mean, on paper, it looks like magic. But the reality is, FSRS doesn't break physics, not at all. It achieves this by reading between the lines of the quantum states through some brilliant mathematical global data fits. Scientists analyze the evolution of those vibrational coherences across the entire dataset, rather than just looking at a single isolated snapshot. By processing the multidimensional data, they can reconstruct the rapid frequency changes without violating a single law of quantum mechanics. It's just an absolute triumph of brilliant data analysis intersecting with hardcore optical physics. Finally, Section 6, the attosecond frontier, looking forward to the future. Okay, so we've mastered the femtosecond, but the universe is always ready to show us something smaller and something faster. While femtochemistry operates at 10 to the negative 15 seconds, which again is the timescale of atomic nuclei moving, allowing us to watch those chemical bonds break. Attosecond operates at 10 to the negative 18 seconds. An attosecond is 1,000 times shorter than a femtosecond. This is the timescale of the electrons themselves. To put this completely mind-blowing scale into perspective, an attosecond is to a single second what a second is to the entire age of the universe. Current researchers are already pioneering extreme ultraviolet attosecond pulses to directly observe electron dynamics within solids and at the nanoscale. Which leaves us with a truly profound thought to end on today. We've spent this explainer seeing exactly how humanity has built the ultimate camera to film atoms dancing, bonding, and breaking. But as we step into this new era of artificial intelligence-driven spectroscopy, quantum computing, and attosecond lasers, ask yourself, if femtoseconds let us film the atoms, what incredible mysteries will we unlock when we can finally film the electrons? Will we engineer the absolute perfect solar cells? Will we completely conquer quantum materials? The ultra-fast microscopic world is really just getting started, and the future is moving faster than you can blink. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep looking deeper.